I always used to hear when I was a kid about the American dream. I never really understood the meaning of the word, but now I'm living the meaning.
Well, when I began, if you told me that the culmination of events would lead to me fighting on the White House lawn, I would be so proud of myself and so happy that I am here. They have the opportunity to do something that will be unforgettable.
E olha só, tudo que eu conquistei. Que quando chega pessoas falando, te colocando pra baixo, pra você não acreditar. O terceiro cinturão, lutando dentro da Casa Branca.
Everybody knows it's not easy to be a fighter because about the money, because about all of the business we can have around that. To put MMA in the White House, for the rest of the world, this is a big message.
This is like a one-of-one event. This is going to be the most watched UFC event ever.
Every so often, the UFC finds a new way to stretch the boundaries of what feels possible in sports. The kind of thing that sounds more like a late-night hypothetical than something that would actually be attempted. A UFC event on the White House grounds was always going to carry that kind of atmosphere. And once the idea became real, the UFC needed a card built to fit the spectacle. At the center of it all sits Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, one of the sport's fastest rising forces against one of its most violently dependable veterans.
One thing I know for a fact is that he never fought with someone like me, and the only thing that I want from Justin is to him to show up in the event, and I'm gonna do the rest.
I'm coming in there and I'm gonna try to knock this motherfucker out. I will be throwing missiles on the White House lawn on June 14th.
And somehow, that's only half of this story. The co-main event brings another collision of elite violence, with a remarkable piece of history attached to it.
Pereira moving up to heavyweight. He wants it bad. If Alex can win this fight, first three-division champ ever.
We're going to see Ciryl Gane and Alex Pereira having a world-class kickboxing match in 4-ounce gloves. I guarantee that is going to be a ridiculous fight.
This isn't just another card. It's a night designed for moments that won't look real until they happen. But before the UFC arrives at the White House for UFC Freedom 250, let's take an inside look into one of the most surreal events the sport has ever attempted.
What a deep card, what a lot of superstars are going to be on hand in DC.
That seems like a movie, not real life.
There'll be nothing like it ever again.
Alex Pereira is genuinely one of the only major superstars in the sport at present. And after destroying Magomed Ankalaev in a thunderous first-round revenge, his stock with the fans is right back up where it needs to be. But the question we have now is whether this former middleweight can translate his immense striking talents up to the heavyweight division. Can Poatan make all of the skills that made him a star count? Because even though Ciryl Gane is one of the most divisive figures in the sport, a closer look at his resume can show us exactly why he will be a real threat to Pereira.
I don't think that's an easy fight at all because Ciryl Gane's jab can pose a lot of problems. You're talking about a proper heavyweight who is extremely athletic.
Alex Pereira is very good when he fights light heavyweights or middleweights who don't move a lot. Ciryl Gane is a massive heavyweight who moves a lot, moves really well, really fluid on his feet, in and out, judges the distance really well.
The obvious reason why Poatan will like his chances is that Gane is primarily a striker. Although he does possess offensive grappling skills to some degree, the less we say about his defense and decision-making, the better. But here's the thing. People write off Gane for some key moments in big fights. Poking Tom Aspinall in the eyes, utterly crumbling under John Jones's wrestling and submission, getting a decision win over Volkov that he didn't deserve, and that terrible leg lock in the 5th round against Francis Ngannou that arguably lost him the fight. How many of those mistakes and poor choices will actually be relevant against Poatan, though? Because when you look at Gane as an opponent on paper, he's fast for the division, technically sound, composed on the feet, and generally a methodical starter. A guy who likes to make reads and warm into the fight. These things will help him in there with Poatan. But here's where it gets dicey. Pereira, even as a former middleweight fighter, will undoubtedly have the power advantage here. And he'll have the technical striking advantage too.
He's not quite as smooth or quite as slick, but he's got the punching power. The power will travel.
Gane doesn't like leg kicks. He doesn't fare well against leg kicks. Alex Pereira, unbelievable leg kicker. Like his calf kicks. You've seen the calf kicks he does, he slows people down. Like that's how he sets up the left hook, is he kicks them to the calf, stops the movement a little bit, and then comes in with the left hook. So,
but Gane is a natural heavyweight with the skills on the feet to get it done. And don't rule out his ability to overpower Pereira in the clinch or even score a takedown. The winner of this fight will be setting themselves up for a showdown with the champion, Tom Aspinall. But in this division, nothing is certain. The most important prize that will come out of it will be the glory itself, the victory on this massive stage, and what it will do for their career. In Gane's case, beating a superstar like Pereira will be a truly redemptive moment, even if the manner in which he earned his shot at the title was suspect. But for most MMA fans, it's Alex Pereira who will be getting the largest portion of attention here. To do what he's already done across 2 divisions with minimal MMA experience is the stuff of legend. However, to take that momentum to a 3rd division would be something else entirely. On paper, this main event between Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje might seem like a layup for the budding superstar in the red corner. And by the time all is said and done, that may well be exactly what it was. However, there's something to be said for the longevity and never-say-die attitude of Justin Gaethje, and how he's proven himself to be far more than just the most exciting fighter on the roster. When push comes to shove, Gaethje is a born overperformer. All of the guys who were part of his generation have either retired or fallen completely off. Eddie Alvarez, Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Tony Ferguson, that golden era of lightweights. Right now, we've got Charles Oliveira still in the mix and Justin Gaethje with a UFC interim title around his waist. He's won plenty of fights in the past that he was supposed to lose, the ones where it seemed like the younger generation was being propped up to take him out.
They've tried to get rid of me, but, I have held off these young, up-and-coming, these guys are so hungry. Patty was so hungry, Fazeev was so hungry. These guys are all up-and-comers, and they're all coming for me. And every time I've got the opportunity, I have held them off. So I'm here for a reason. I'm here because I'm one of the best in the world. I'm fighting a guy that is absolutely incredible, but I have a great coach, and we're going to have a great plan. And I'm going to, change his face, just like I always do to all my opponents.
However, with all that being said, Ilia Topuria is a different breed. It can be hard to get a read on how great someone is when you're right in the middle of their prime. But beating Volkanovski, Holloway, and Oliveira back to back to back is astounding. Finishing them all dominantly only makes it more impressive. Topuria is almost the perfect fighter, a grappler by trade who eventually rounded out his game with electric striking skills, a fighter with excellent footwork, trap-setting, cardio, and overall IQ. He's a killer, and he's specifically built to take out a guy like Gaethje, who's always down to stand and bang.
The 55 division, no one's in the prime. They're all good.
Right.
And the issue is Ilia's just getting to his prime.
Just getting to his prime.
Surging.
And already one of the greatest of all time.
He's a fucking problem.
Yeah, he's so smart and so disciplined and so completely focused and
Good
dialed in. Great at everything.
Great at everything.
This should be Topuria's night. This should be an opportunity for him to further his star power and single himself out as the present and future of the sport. The UFC understand this and are clearly putting him on this stage for a reason. But what if Justin Gaethje lands something? What if one of those famous leg kicks leaves Topuria compromised? Because if Justin can make this ugly and can roll with the shots well enough to land one of his own, who knows what can happen? We're just setting the table here. It's pretty well understood what should happen here, but this is MMA.
When you look at Justin Gaethje though, right, the things that he does well, if you say, I'm gonna take Justin Gaethje, the tailor-made things that he does well, calf kicks, leg kicks, and the big uppercut. That feeds right into how he can beat Ilia Topuria. People are overlooking that. They're like, oh, well, the technique, the boxing, the defense, the power of Ilia Topuria. But I'm like, man, Gaethje, 2 or 3 leg kicks, that could change the game on how the Topuria boxes. And then also, too, the way Topuria dips his head a little bit, you can never underestimate the power of Justin Gaethje and his ability to hit the leg kicks as well as that uppercut.
I'm not so biased to the American fighter to think that Justin Gaethje's he's up against it. It's a very, very difficult fight. I am 100% aligned with the idea of the general public that this young man may be a new breed of fighter, I'm talking Topuria, than anything we've seen since Conor McGregor.
For Topuria, the prize here is increased fame and exposure, and another nice win on his resume, potentially one that leads to a fight with Arman Tsarukyan, or even a move to 170 for the fight that was supposed to happen here on June 14th. For Gaethje, beating Topuria would be something far greater. In fact, after 2 failed attempts at winning the belt from Khabib and Oliveira, it would completely change his legacy. Both men have big power, and both men will be gunning for the chin from the get-go. But eventually, one must fall.